Um, Guns are used for things other than like just war. They're also used for hunting and sports. And like our forefathers, like tried to, they made sure that like our right to bear arms was secure. But today, instead of talking about like, the right to bear arms, I'm going to be talking about my main claim is that the fact that guns are legally available to citizens allows for violent actions that involve firearms to occur. I have three supporting claims for that, and the first is that many deaths occur due to careless handling of the gun owners. Criminals can obtain guns easily to use in their illegal acts. And the third one is that semi-automatic weapons are not safe and do not belong in the hands of citizens. For my first point is that, like I said before, that many deaths occur because of careless gun owners. And one of the statistics I have is that in 2007, 613 deaths occurred because of gun accidents, and that was according to Stephen F. Cardin, who has a bachelor's degree in psychology. And another point that he made was that in 2007, 15,698 accidents resulted in ER visits. Those were non-fatal, but again, they resulted in ER visits, so they were serious. My second supporting claim is that criminals can obtain guns too easily to use in their illegal acts. The United States has the highest gun ownership rates in international polls, and the United States also has the highest homicide rates by firearms. So that means that they go hand in hand. So it's like, I'm sorry. So, and then 10% to 15% of guns are stolen. So that means that most of the other guns that are coming in for criminal acts are legal. And that was said by Dan from Frontline PBS. And my third supporting claim is that semi-automatic weapons do not belong in the hands of citizens. 1,440 state and federal prisoners, according to the FBI statistics, said that prisoners use them for military weapons and crimes. Semi-automatic weapons are also frequently used in mass murders, including at Sandy Hook Elementary mass murder, in which 20 children were killed and 6 adults were also killed. So to recap, guns are legally available to citizens, and that is not safe because it allows for too many accidents, or allows for violent actions involving firearms to occur. And that's because many deaths occur due to careless gun owners. Criminals can obtain guns legally too easily, and semi-automatic weapons are not safe in the hands of citizens.
All right, well, you identify the proposition, although the phrasing on it is very complicated and awkward, and I think that it still needs to be simplified a little bit. The secondary points are labeled. They're a little bit clearer and more simple and to the point. I'm not sure there's much dispute on the first point. I mean, gun deaths and the number of admissions to ERs, that's a fact. Now, the question is that due to people's access to guns or free access to guns, any of those sorts of things? I mean, in essence, it's like saying, well, if they didn't have guns, we wouldn't have had those accidents. And that's a, where are you? I know you're there somewhere. There you are. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say, but the same thing could be said about anything. You know, we had 36,000 people who died on the highways last year. If people didn't have cars, we wouldn't have had 36,000 people die. Okay, that's true also, but that's not, I'm sure, where the controversy is. The controversy is whether or not the laws are adequate to prevent those, whether or not a change in laws would get a different outcome, you know, that sort of thing. So it's just factual data that you're presenting on the accidents there. On the statistic about the use of guns and their availability, that's okay information. I think you've got the start of an argument there. It feels a little bit underdeveloped. I'm not sure Dan on Frontline is a very thorough source citation. I think that you need to find additional information here. In fact, it sounded a little bit like you had 4 pieces of information in the argument, and that doesn't sound like a very strong development of proof. There's probably a couple of extra pieces in there that are not being cited in the source, in the presentation, and I think that's a little bit of a problem. And then the argument about the semi-automatic weapons gives us some statistic, well, not a statistic, but a piece of data about how frequently those guns are used in crimes. I heard reference that said a certain number of prisoners use those guns in crimes, and then you had one example for mass killings at the end, and that was the Sandy Hook example, and that's the only evidence on that particular point. So I think you need a little bit more information about the use of semi-automatic weapons in the crimes that you're talking about, especially. You know, you mentioned the number of murders that we have at one point and how many murders were committed with semi-automatic weapons. I didn't hear that data, and that seems like it would be pretty essential on that third point. All right, thank you.